So I mentioned Chandler and I mentioned Gray playing elsewhere. What's the running back situation look like?
It's sad to think about. I mean, and Eric Gray, I saw some guys from Oklahoma tweeting that he was impressive yesterday. He apparently scored like a really nice touchdown. That hurts badly. It hurts, but I think there's definitely a case to be made that he was involved in some of the recruiting stuff that's coming down the pike for Tennessee, the recruiting problems, and he might have just had to go, unfortunately. But nonetheless, yeah, you're resetting at that position while at the same time you have some nice options. I was actually just saying this on my own podcast. We recorded the Big Orange podcast that you mentioned earlier right before this. I was saying like that running back room is strangely deep, but it's deep with potential. It's not necessarily deep with guys where we've just seen them have breakout performances and they look great. But Jabari Small yesterday, he probably had the performance that sort of turned heads. He looked good. He's a small guy, 5'11", 206. But it seemed like he had pretty good vision, pretty good cutting ability, and I think any guy like that can be useful. And in Heupel's system, you really need that guy to be an all-purpose back, and I think he could be that. But you also have a guy like Tyon Evans, D. Beckwith. Jalen Wright looked pretty good yesterday, I believe, scored a touchdown. And they're all these young guys. They're all guys that we haven't seen them actually play in an SEC football game, but that are coming in with hype and are exciting options for Heupel in this crazy breakneck speed offense that he's trying to put in place. And that was probably my biggest observation from yesterday, outside of the fact that Tennessee, strangely, does actually have some nice options at different positions on the offense. The defense is a different story, but on offense, I kind of thought like Heupel might take his crazy lightning fast offense and ratchet it back a little bit and be like, okay, we're playing SEC football now. This is a little bit different. I gotta adjust my style because the defenses are going to be better. The athletes are going to be better than pace. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. In fact, I think he even mentioned yesterday they didn't play fast enough. They didn't play to the speed that he wanted them to, and it was crazy fast. I mean, this is the style of offense that I have never seen out of a Tennessee football team, and it's really a style of offense that you see out of teams that can't get, I would say, the adequate caliber of players, so they sort of have to play a gimmicky style to get around that. And frankly, the situation Tennessee finds itself in, I think that's good. Tennessee does need to be gimmicky right now because the roster is obliterated. The roster is in dire straits, and it's going to take a few years to get that built back up to an SEC level. And so I like it. It was refreshing and it was exciting to see. And yeah, that running back room, to me, tons of potential and could really be utilized well by Heupel and some guys in the flanks at wide receiver too that I think could be good. And I'm just interested to see how it actually translates when we get into league play and how that offense really operates opposite a defense that is in really rough shape, in my opinion. But nonetheless, interesting and exciting. I would put it that way.